Going along, our audience comments regarding any of our agenda items. Nothing tonight, all right, thank you, Tammy. Number 4, consent agenda. These are the items that the board, we see these regularly and we're very familiar with. In fact, just a reminder, we get our board minutes the week before. We have plenty of time to look over them, ask questions, so if you don't hear a question tonight, it's probably because we've already asked the question and gotten the answers. But tonight, items to be approved on our consent agenda are 4A, the minutes of the July 9th, 2024 special meeting. 4B, claims. 4C, superintendent's personnel actions. 4D, leaves of absence. 4E, technology surplus. 4F, the following out-of-state field trips. 4FA, the Madison Middle School trip to Chicago, Illinois on November 2nd through the 3rd, 2024. 4G, the ARC are chairpersons. Are there any questions? No questions about that? All right, then I need a motion to approve our consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
The motion's been made by Ms. Cobb. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Brock. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on down the agenda to number 5, our monthly reports. We'll start with 5A. Our instruction report tonight is Miss Angie Wilcox. I see her back there. This is going to be our school counselor services coordinator to present our instruction report. Thank you, Angie.
Thank you for having me. I'm going to present on MTSS and school counseling coordination today because I do both of those. I'm going to start with MTSS first, so that's our multi-tiered systems of support. And so over the last couple years, that has really grown, and our schools have really taken on to looking at their systems. Last year, I think I shared with you all last year, we introduced a new intervention menu so teachers could use it as a resource if there was a support they needed for a certain academic skill or behavior skill. They could then look on this resource menu and find an intervention. So that has been great this year. We actually are adding hearing and vision to that this coming year, just because of the needs that we have also for intervention accommodations for vision and hearing. So that'll be a new thing that will be added in September for that. So that's a great resource for us. We've also made a new MTSS informational sheet, and it is kind of breaking those tiers down. I know I have talked about those tiers to you all before, so I won't go into that, but it is a nice, easy way for parents to understand that Tier 1 support is what everyone gets. And then if your student is struggling, then we look for a support in a Tier 2 intervention. And if that is still needing more support, we look into a Tier 3. So we have revised a new letter. We have put that on our website. So now under teaching and learning, that is also available for them. We also thought it'd be a great resource for our new teachers as they're onboarding and coming into our district, that they see how we handle our systems of support. Something else too that I kind of wanted to touch on. Last year, we looked at using a problem-solving model within our MTSS framework, and so all schools meet monthly. And it was really neat going out to the schools and seeing they were actually looking at the data, making a plan, implementing, and going back and looking at action steps. Is our plan working? A lot of times we sit in a meeting, we get together after school, and you go through looking at the data and you make a plan, but do we go back and is our plan working? So that was our goal last year, and that happened over and over throughout the year. One that keeps coming to my mind I thought I would share was even looking at behavior data. In that there was a school that was looking at that, and they're like, you know what, we have probably more office discipline referrals for bus than we do any other area of our school. And so they went back and said, well, let's make a plan. What are we going to do? We're going to, and they taught behavior expectations again to the students as a review. And it was not August, it was later in the year. And then when they come back the next month, there was a decrease in those bus referrals. So it was just proving to them, okay, that system worked. Let's look, what's our next action item, So that's just one example, but they were using it for everything from looking at failure reports and connecting to kids to attendance. So that's kind of my MTSS report. School counseling, so Our school counselors in the district are wonderful. Their all-in support for kids is amazing. If you see them, please thank them. I appreciate them all the time. I cannot do that enough. We meet monthly as well. What we try to do is just build on our capacity as school counselors and leaders within our buildings. Sometimes the meetings may be on, if it's March, it's usually testing topics, because that's when they're putting their building assessment coordinator hat on. And so what we're working on there is our systems and stuff to put in place for administering, KSA assessment or whatever the assessment is. Other times of the year, we have had a therapist come and share some strategies for anxiety, so that they can then take it back to their schools and help kids self-regulate. So those meetings have really brought us together too, even as a school counseling team. So we will definitely continue those. I do want to touch on a few things they have kind of worked on within last year I didn't talk about, and then new this year. They're working to help teachers implement an SEL curriculum, and that is Second Steps, and it is going to be K-12 through all of our schools. It just looks different at each level, because that's just the form of how we are as we grow up. So they're working on implementing that. Also, we got a partnership with the Kentucky Center for Grieving Children and Families, and they had a grant to work 3 semesters with students in small groups. So last year, we started that in the spring, and we had 5 schools participate in that. And so the school counselor goes in kind of as the facilitator, the connection already with kids, and then they also bring a counselor that comes in and does the lessons with them. So we did 5 schools in the spring, and we'll do 8 this fall, and then we'll do 5 again in the spring. So that's exciting news for them. And I could talk all day, I guess, but I made a list of what I'm going to say. Another thing I know I want to start this year is I would love to reach out to just all teachers or anyone who's pursuing school counseling in their future, and do some kind of little cadre for them, and have them come and meet, and maybe have some of the school counselors speak to them and the joys of their job. So that's kind of on my radar for this year. Do you all have any questions?
No, we love your list.
Thank you.
We could hear about it all day.
I should have brought you guys last year. We did our fidgets.
I've still got mine.
Well, these became my new ones. I should have. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, next up is 5B on our agenda. We have our construction report. So Jonathan Smith with Branscombe Construction. He's going to be presenting an update tonight on our new Madison Middle project.
Good evening. I just want to give you all an update of kind of where things are at Madison Middle, and talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing over the next little bit. The last several weeks, as you know, we've had a lot of rain, been a lot of water in the building, site's been a little wet. Luckily, with the site out there, everything's sitting on rock. Even though the top's a little sloppy and muddy, it's been solid around the site. So workers still been able to get in and out. What you see there, this is some of the interior brick. This is going into the office area. You can see where that's being laid. Obviously, none of that brick's been cleaned yet, but they're getting that interior brick, and that's the main corridor running through the school. The classroom wings to the left, of course, gymnasium and other areas to the right, but that's some of that interior brick that they've started laying on the interior. This is the framing in that office area. They've actually already started some of the metal stud framing in pretty much all over the building, but that's some of that in the office area. Again, this is looking the other direction back towards the front of the building. You can see that framing going up in that office area, and you can see where there's been a lot of water in the building, but that's getting dried up daily as hopefully the roofer can start catching up. We can get some dry days that we've got a lot of areas they can be roofing, and we can get some of these sealed up and keep water from getting in the building. This is the media center. As you can see there, a lot of the framing's going around the walls on the media center. It's coming right along. They've got several areas that they are framing inside the building. This is that main corridor. Again, you can see the left takes you to the gymnasium, and you can see some of that soffit fascia area that's getting framed. So they're getting a lot of areas framed so they can get out ahead, and then of course electricians, what they have to rough in as we're getting that framing in, they're falling behind them, getting their rough end done, before we're ready to start, drywalling once the building gets closed in. This is the standing actually on the cafeteria looking back. That's the, where the kitchen is. You can see that roof area is getting completed. Dixie, the roofer, is on site. As we're getting these areas ready, they're falling right in behind them, getting the roof down, hopefully getting these areas dried in as weather allows. This is the brick on the front of the building. You can see there, part of the office area, and to the right is the gym. I'll show you another shot of the gym in a minute down the side, but you can see the different colors of brick that you all picked out. You can see those large columns, those three big openings at the top of, that's where windows will be into the gym. That'll let natural light into the gymnasium. This is the other side, the front office. You can see the variation of the brick colors there. Around the front of the building, a lot of that classroom wing D and C brick is pretty much around it. They're all the way around to the back to E, if you drove by. So you can see a lot of the exterior brick has been laid on a lot of those areas. This is kind of that finished product. I think I showed you a picture of this last month, but this brick has been cleaned since then, so you can really see how the brick's gonna look. Coming around, that's area D, classroom wing, you can see there. So that they're cleaning as they get areas done. They've got their crews dropping in behind them, and they're cleaning brick right in behind that. So you can see the window openings, the actual stone seals are on site now. So they will start setting those, and then hopefully in the next month to 2 months, they've actually already got a lot of the window units have been made, and they're in their shop in Lexington. So we should be starting to see windows go in hopefully the next 60 days. This is just an overall shot of kind of that gym. You can see that area where those black brick columns and then the brick below that's coming in. So getting a lot of those areas done around the exterior building. This is going down the side of the gym. You can see where the brick's been washed to the left and to the right. Obviously, it's not. So they're working. You can see their scaffolds set up on past that. So they're laying those areas. As they get a big area done, the cleaning crew's dropping in behind them, and they're washing that brick in behind there. So a lot of brick in the last 60 days has been laid on site. This is kind of the non-architectural space of Tony's drawings. This is up on the mezzanine, but you can see a lot of units are getting set up on the mechanical mezzanine. There's been a lot of work going inside the building, so those units are getting set. You can see piping's going in. I'll show you a shot overhead of all the piping, but you can see they're getting a lot of those units piped in, hooked up, so when we're ready to go. This is one of the bigger spaces in the mechanical mezzanine upstairs. You can see the room they've got up there to get to those units, access them, work on them, but they're getting those set and piped in. This is kind of the shot overhead. You can see all the piping that's going in overhead. You can see your geothermal loops. You can see the water pipe, and also sprinklers been run in pretty much all of those areas. So you can see the ductwork down both sides. They're up to where the unit's set. Once we'll be ready to start hooking stuff in and tying them into the unit. So a lot of ductwork has been installed. This is the framing up on the mezzanine. It's going on also. You can kind of see behind that like I said, a lot of that ductwork is being done in those classroom spaces. Again, this is just framing that's going on throughout the job. You can see the bracing of the walls that's being done. This is standing in the mezzanine looking down over the classroom space. Again, this is on the mezzanine looking down. A lot of those walls that go on up, they're getting those framed, getting everything tied together above to the structure. So a lot of work going on. Over the next 30, 60 days, we're getting site utilities in. We're getting them out to the property line. We've had some back and forth at KU, but we finally, I think we're gonna settle on where power's gonna come in. So saw an email come through yesterday. So hopefully that will be the case, and we'll be ready when we need permanent power to the building. We'll have utilities out there. Water and sewers also coming out to the road now. They're getting that run around the building. So everything's going well. Just hopefully with the weather on the exterior, we can get farther along on the exterior. Work is going on the athletic fields. It's just been slow for the last 2-3 weeks with all the rain we've had, but work is going on down there also as weather allows. So, any questions?
Thank you.
You usually ask this question, but are we on a timeline still? Like
Yes,
still,
we are.
And even the athletic fields, are we very far behind on those with all the rain?
No, actually, you know, when we started those, we started some of that stuff a little bit earlier than what was on the schedule. Now, there are a few areas that we wish was a little bit farther along, but there's other areas that we hadn't planned on being this far along that are getting farther along. So we've had some give and take in the schedule, but overall, we're still, our target date has not changed for completion. So any days we can pick up, and our hope is to get the windows in the building, get everything roofed, so when bad weather hits, we got the inside of the building all winter to work on, so weather's not gonna stop that. So that's why we pushed a lot of this exterior to get a lot of it done now before the winter weather gets here. And our hope is to have, hopefully, we met with the paver this past week. We hope to have base paving down on the parking areas before winter hits. It's gonna depend on cold weather in the blacktop plant, but our hopes are to get all the utilities in, get rock down, and get the base coat of paving down before winter. And then, of course, in the spring, come back in spring, do the surface the last thing. We'll run on the base paving all year because it won't be a finished product. We'll come back in the spring and do the surface. So that's our hope if the weather cooperates.
It's exciting every time you drive by.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just, there's always a gazillion people there working, which is fantastic. But the changes now, it just seems so rapid,
Yeah.
you know.
And that's what I was telling Mr. Rutherford here in about, 60 days or so, with the last big section we like is the storm shelter wing. And there should be starting to set steel on it by next week because the masons are almost done in there. It should finish out Friday. They'll start steel in that area back there. And then after that, still gonna be a lot of work on, but you're not gonna see it unless you go inside the building because
Right.
the structure of the building's not gonna change that much more because it's pretty close to being complete.
Awesome.
I really appreciate the people working on Saturdays. I drove by several Saturdays and they're out there working.
Yeah, the masons have worked almost every Saturday for the past 3 or 4 months.
Yep. So,
So,
Thank you. Awesome, thank you.
appreciate it.
All right. Tony is here, yay. So, Mr. Thomas of Klopfelder Samakar, I always say it wrong, architects, he's gonna present our construction report. I'll just call you Tony. How about
Thank
that?
you, and that would be fine. That will be fine. We changed the name if we didn't have to change all our letterhead
I know it.
and marketing
I
material.
always say Samakar, but it's Sam.
That's all right, that's all right. Good evening. So in the construction report tonight, I will get started with the Phillips Building. And Merch is here, and of course Travis McFetridge works on that too. But this is from Georgia Street. You can see all the metal panel siding that has been put in now. The Tech Building to the left looks more similar to the building on the right with the similar materials. Those vertical areas will look much nicer with the windows and the shiny windows. And of course, we're missing some canopies there on both those sections of the walls, which will give that much more depth. They look a little flat right now. Same thing there. That door will be the main door to the office area, and of course there'll be a canopy outside there and finished sidewalks and parking lots. So, but it's good to see the metal siding on there. And this is all the equipment they have working on the road to get through there so that the parents can drop off their kids to Daniel Boone coming up next week. But they had some good weather today and really making progress to put that road through there. Of course, this is the bleachers for the soccer field, and you can also see they're putting the gravel in for the soccer field and the concession stand just beyond. If I scoot over a little bit, you can see there's underfield drains, there's fabric and then drains underneath that gravel. We've got the gravel down, and now they'll be putting the synthetic turf on top of it. You can see the nice set of bleachers and concessions in the background there. And just another picture of the sea of gravel that we have out there, which is a big flat spot now where the purple lot used to be. And a closer look at the concession stand, which is getting pretty close to finishing up. If we go inside the building, this is the area where I guess some of the disciplines will have their desk, like they are around Pam's area right now. Kind of an open office area. There'll be a break room. Want to get a better picture of the casework because it looks really nice, but they've done a good job at covering it up. This is out. Some of the board members toured. This is an area that we walked through yesterday. This is leading back to the tech workroom. It's open to you can see the joist from from the previous building, but also the mezzanine to the right where we've covered in the office area. This is just turn around, look in the other direction. And that's inside Ben's tech workshop there, so I'm sure he's happy about that nice, well-lit place. More of a storage room. So that's the Phillips building moving along. Any questions on the Phillips building?
Looks great.
I just hope that driveway gets done by Wednesday,
Yes, yes. So does everybody, yes.
because that will be a mess.
And
if
that's
it's
been a
not.
big push. Mr. Clark, I think, probably calls somebody every 5 minutes on, is that gonna get done? And that's why you saw all that equipment out there. They had lots of equipment out there this morning making that happen.
But it looks really nice.
If we jump to the middle school, of course, I'll probably repeat some of Jonathan's pictures here, but here's a picture out in the front and over to the side. This picture's a few days old, and this is just another aerial shot to show you from the back. And I say the back because the front of the building towards Goggins Lane is at the top of the picture. The gym and the cafeteria are on the left side, and of course the academic wings on the right. The area without a roof, which is getting a roof now, is the storm shelter. This particular day, it was a lot of rain, but this is the gymnasium area. This is the main lobby area. This is the cafeteria area looking over towards the storm shelter, so you can see a lot of glass there. There will be a lot of glass there. Typical classroom, typical corridor. There'll be lockers under those areas where you see steel studs, and those will be sound panels to kind of soften the sound in there. That's standing in the lobby looking at the media center. Just another big instructional space. Similar to what Jonathan was talking about up on the mezzanines, a lot of progress there, getting heat pumps installed. And there yet again, another area of heat pumps being installed. So lots of good progress. Like he said, it has been raining, and and of course there's a lot of successful plumbing as well. And I just ended it back on an aerial shot in case there were any questions on this particular job. But progress is good. Like he said, I think, with the deadline of next summer, I think we're in pretty good shape. And I could not, even with my muck boots, get back to the back 40 where the baseball and softball fields are. But I think in last month we showed you how they were coming out of the ground. The plumbing was coming out of the grounds. The slabs are poured. Now we just need to go vertical on those buildings back there. I'll move to the former Kentucky Tech Center. Again, Murch is back here. He's been pushing everybody along. This is they're putting this is along 40 and O Avenue, and got the sidewalks going in. You can see the new mechanical equipment there on that side. If you go inside, just clean ceilings, clean walls, clean floors. They've done a good job really cleaning that area up. Of course, now you go into the classrooms, furniture set up, nice white ceilings, bright light, waxed floors, good clean windows. Of course, technology crew's been in and hung the interactive TVs. I called them interactive. I assume they're interactive.
They are.
Yes, yes.
Some might be wrong, function right now, so they're using.
And again, some of the other rooms just waiting for somebody to put the furniture in place, but really in good shape. And of course, new restrooms in this facility, which is a nice thing they needed. Here's the cafeteria. Again, ceilings, lights, paint, just a few little hardware things here and there, and a couple of roll-up doors ready to go. Here's just another view looking at the accent painted wall there. Some TV screens hung up to probably show the menu and other things and pride support type things. And that's the multipurpose room. We've talked about that several times. Just that space has really come along now and offers a lot of versatility. And I already hear everybody clamoring on who gets to use it. Maybe clamoring's not the right word, but it's going to be a valuable space for Madison County. This was the old machine shop. And of course, the kitchen and the kitchen equipment. We were in there this morning, and they were training all the kitchen equipment staff. So far, so good. I believe everybody's ready, and the cooler freezer are going. I believe they have food scheduled to come in, or is it already in, Merch? Did they?
Tuesday.
Okay, coming Tuesday. So plans are set for the kitchen to be active, and and I hear a lot of freshmen are going to be eating over there. And of course, just a picture of all the new beautiful wood doors that are being installed, and the lock sets look really good on all the interior doors. And I don't want to take away from all the mechanical stuff that's going on. A lot of mechanical and electrical work, of course, being done here as well. And just really a nice, neat job. You know, you can see what they've done in the old mechanical room there with the new equipment. Looks really good. That is it for the Tech Center. Any questions on the Tech Center? I know some of you walked through that just
I think
yesterday as well.
It looks really, really nice. And for those that don't know, that they have decided that is basically a freshman center. That's going to be just classroom for freshmen, just a cafeteria for freshmen. So freshmen are going to kind of be in their own little area at Central this year. And I think that's going to be really nice.
Yep.
Really, really nice.
I'll move to Madison Kindergarten Academy. We were just there this morning, well, and yesterday, and the day before. But a lot of good things going on there, too. Of course, this was HVAC, roofing, ceilings, lighting, and paint, and that's pretty much, except for the roofing, that's what you get in this one picture right here. You can see the nice new ceilings, good lighting, paint on the walls, and, of course, the staff's come in and done a great job getting all the floors ready. The contractors here have really done a good job. They had a tight schedule. Of course, you know, the former Tech Center had a tight schedule as well, but here it was even tighter. And really want to give them some applause for just what they've had to do over this summer to get some of this HVAC and lighting and things done. And the staff there as well, Miss Stacy and her staff and Madison County staff. I mean, look, we started this practically when school was out, and look, they're ready to go back to school with paint, and nice ceilings, lighting, shiny floors. They were moving furniture back in today. They asked me why I didn't wear my blue jeans, but so I'll bring back my dolly tomorrow. More ceilings, lighting in the corridors, painted doors. This is the front desk getting put together. So there'll be a security vestibule there at MKA. This is the other side where the owner's done some of their own casework, as in Madison County. That's the entry you see in the background. You know, nice new restrooms down at that one end of the building, of course, which is lacking restrooms, so everybody's happy to see. And they're colorful and well done, so everybody's happy about those. Of course, the cafeteria now has the tables in there and the nice new ceilings and lighting and shiny floors ready to go. Of course, your technology staff, again, sitting there working hard, putting some more of these TVs are on carts. Here's a classroom set up, ready to go, almost. And of course, I got some pictures of the what was that called? Miss Stacy bought a lot of the this type artwork and things. I call it imagination. Invention Land, I'm sorry, yes. But it is imagination. It's very imaginative and creative. Invention Land, and you can see that what they've done in some of these areas. That's the library. This is a library with some new carpet going down. The carpet got damaged, so it was replaced. So this is a lot of the Invention Land things that they've done in there as well. On the front, that's the front vestibule doors. So just a lot of neat things going on there. And Mrs. Stacy's really making things happen. And so, any questions about MKA?
No, I'll just say about at MKA, kind of like I have at Madison Middle. I drove by the other day, drove through the parking lot, and I don't think I've ever seen so many people working inside of a school, outside of school. They were just crawling all over it. So
Right.
I appreciate everybody working hard.
Yes. Yep. Well, if there's no more question on construction, I'll dive into Waco. Of course, I believe at the last meeting I said that I was going to come to this meeting with design development and final plans. We've talked through the schedule over the last month. I think we'll be able to do final plans next month. So this is the design development that we'll ask for approval for today. Of course, it's important for you to know that, of course, we've met with Dr. Gillum, Chris Clark, staff, your mechanical, electrical, and plumbing people to get to this point. And I'll go on the same agenda motion is the BG2 and the BG3. You all have been through these several times now, but I just highlight, of course, 65,000 square foot building. Alternate number one, so Dr. Gillum, or actually whoever will sign this one, just in our meetings yesterday, we added an alternate. So before you sign this, I'm presenting this, but I'm going to alternate to add an alternate for fire alarm. You see the first one there is HVAC manufacturer. So what we're going to do is, as we've done in the past, we'll have an alternate bid to break out a kind of an owner-preferred alternate for a manufacturer only. So you can see that number, and if you like the number, you can take that alternate. If you don't, you can take, whoever bid the project. In terms of just the manufacturer of the HVAC equipment. We're going to do the same thing for the fire alarm. Of course, Katie asked for the building construction characteristics. This building is very similar to Boonesboro. Block, brick, steel joist, steel deck, metal roofing. They asked some questions about energy efficiency here. We have a good energy efficiency target because it's a geothermal building, of course. And here's some boring information below that you all probably have already glanced over regarding how long are the walls, how many square foot areas of the wall. It's television and interactive whiteboard. You notice they say NA. It's not because you don't have those. Technology has changed. Your PA is really, your bell is all part of your PA system. Television they're referring to as the old cable television, which you don't have anymore. An interactive whiteboard or the smart boards, you just don't have those. But you are going to have, of course, what Ben comes up and asks you all to have with the interactive technology, so you will have those things. And outside of that, of course, we've got over what type of finishes that you all want in the building on page 3, and it's very similar to more what we've done just recently in the middle school, because the owners made some preferences changes since the middle, like a Line-X type product in the bathrooms, no carpet in the library, some LVT and things of that nature. And that is your BG2. Any questions on the BG2? The BG3 is the cost estimate. Really haven't changed anything from what we've been working with up until this point, except of course that you all did hire a construction manager. So that number has been added to the line and to the total. And of course those are the numbers there in front of you, and like I said, they haven't changed except for the CM. So if you have any questions on the BG3? If not, I'll go into the design development of the plans. Of course, this is very small for you to see, but the floor plan that we approved at schematic, that's the same floor plan we approved. Of course, 65,540 square feet, something like that. If we zoom in a little bit, you can see where I've got entry. There's a bus lane canopy down to the front, car lane and entry over to the side where the gymnasium is. And that's very similar to, of course, Boonesboro Elementary. Get a little closer, front entry, offices on the left, youth service and FMD on the right. You go down the main corridor, you got media center on the left, gymnasium on the right. If you go straight, it'll take you to the cafeteria, or those other core areas, which are art and music. If we go on back further, and this similar layout schematically to what we've seen at Madison Middle as well. Cafeteria and kitchen to the back of the building. You can see an academic wing with a commons area over to the left side there. 8 classrooms and a commons area. Here you can see the other end of the building, which is still academic area, but with a couple of preschool rooms that have their bathrooms and also serves as the storm shelter. So you can see that, and there's several toilet rooms in that building as well. At design development with KDE, they ask us for you all to see the enlarged plans. This is the library, set up like Boonesboro, the open areas, the tables and shelves, got a workroom in the back for the librarian, AV storage on the back side, and then a comfortable MDF room in there for Ben to go in there and wire everything up. We go to the art and music, pretty simple at elementary level. You got a bunch of casework and sink and teacher stations and teacher's wardrobe, but you want to be adequately furnished in there. The kitchen area, of course, kitchen, serving, cafeteria, mechanical storage. Again, if you're familiar with Boonesboro, this is pretty much the same thing. And again, these plans have gone, of course, to Amy and have been through, reviewed by other Madison County people as well. In a typical classroom, we talked about it before, but most of the classrooms are laid out exactly the same. You get a casework and sink. You get cubbies to be able to hang for 30 kids. Teacher station down there in the corner. None of that furniture is in the contract, but you all usually buy that anyway. And then some shelves on the wall. The casework, sink, cubbies, and shelves are in the contract. And of course, marker boards on the wall. So I guess before I jump to, any questions about the plans or the enlarged plans or, well, these are old pictures. This is what I'm just bringing forward just to remember that we talked about, we went through different elevations on the front of the building and it was all black and white to this point. We had the original, we added 6 feet, we added 10 feet. And I've taken some of the comments that you had from last time and come up with a rendering here, which of course this is kind of a red brick building with stone. We took the stone all the way up here and you can see some bands. We made the tower stone, we were talking about giving it a lot of texture, and it's hard to see from this distance, but I'm going to pull in a little bit. We gave the top some, kind of a coping, changed the font on the Waco Elementary School, extended the glass up into the coping. We talked about doing that as well. It's hard to see behind the canopy, but there's some stripes behind there as well. But that stone on the tower also kind of matches where there'll be stone around the building. And if we zoom in a little bit closer there, it digitizes a little bit, but you can see there's some stripes, some stone stripes under Waco Elementary. You can see the shadow lines from the coping above. Different font on the lettering, and again, the window there. Also put some stripes above the windows, again, which is hard to kind of see from the canopy there. But getting a lot of more texture here. But again, still open to any more comments. I tried to put some coins on the corner, but it didn't work on the right-hand side because the window is so close to the corner, and we couldn't really move the window because of the location of the lobby. But the corners themselves will, just because it'll be stone, will have a little roughness to it. So that's where we are on the elevation of the building.
I think it's
So-
I think it looks
great.
nice.
Oh, good, okay, okay,
I
well,
think
great,
it's
great.
fantastic.
Becky, what do you think?
Back it back out there where we can see that whole.
Yeah, that's what-
Yeah,
I
yeah.
absolutely-
So
I
nice.
absolutely love it. And
Good.
I love the traditional red brick on it.
Yeah, we did that because of Waco,
Block of
yes.
brick.
And discussion with Dr. Gillum, of course,
I love
yeah,
it.
yeah,
I think it's
Looks
awesome.
really
Yeah.
nice.
yeah.
You ready to build it?
Yeah.
I love the glass down around the gym. That looks
Well, it's interesting you say that because, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but that can either be, at Madison Middle, we have a little bit, but it's very obscured, like the glass at the tech centers, the Ignite centers, so it's not direct light coming in, or we could just do spandrel where there's really not light coming in at all. So we'll play with that between now and the final plan review. Do y'all have any thoughts about light coming into the gym?
Lucas Oil Stadium up in Indianapolis is
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
actually really nice.
It is. Oh, we love lighting gyms. The
Yeah.
problem is that the principals, when they have their little moonlight dance,
With the black lights.
well, I'm sorry, of course, I'm thinking that's more middle school, really. I don't know if they really do that
Yeah,
at
they do.
elementary. Yeah, okay,
In
well, there
Carson
you,
Elementary.
The only, the only thing I think we'd have to look at is how the sun comes up.
Yeah,
Is
where
it gonna be
the sun-
shining
where the
in
sun
and glaring
hits
on the
it.
floor?
yeah, and,
That would be the only
yeah.
issue.
And we could provide some, electrically operated, blinds, so that it could be closed off as well. But that's a newer thing, so
Yeah. That'd be the only thing.
I'm
the
glad
glare.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
glare is not,
Oh, yes, yes.
If they're doing, say they're doing a program at 10 o'clock in the morning, you don't want the sun coming in and being like right on the stage area or something.
Yeah, you just have to know where the glare is
Yeah.
gonna be.
Right. So y'all picked right up on that.
And the columns over on the left, are those new? I don't remember those last time.
They are at Boone's. Are you talking about, yeah, I didn't zoom in on that, but all the way over to the left
Right.
is where the preschool pickup and drop-off is. So that exists at Boonesboro as well.
Right, okay.
But the glass around the gym, which they picked up on, is not
Okay.
at Boonesboro. See, y'all are so observant.
It's like
I didn't
the-
even sneak that by.
I just like the fact that it's just not.
I just didn't
hidden by
remember
the
it from
canopy.
last month.
Well, you're correct, No, that's the kind of thing that we worked on right there to develop that a little bit more
Yeah, we don't miss
aesthetically
much.
appealing. Yeah, I know. And that's good.
I want to say I love it, and I also want to say thank you for listening to
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. I
What we
really
try to
love
do.
it.
Because I think
That's what we try
everything
to-
we recommended, you've
Is up
done.
there.
Yeah, okay. Well, we try to do that. Try to listen.
It'll be beautiful on that site.
It's really nice.
The flag's at a nice touch too.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah.
It's a nice touch.
Good looking.
So that's my presentation. I would recommend approval if you also see fit.
I think
Let's-
we've got a,
I'm sorry, we're not in the motion. We're not in the
Right,
motion.
right.
Any other
Let's
questions?
Well, we can, we'd love to.
Okay,
Let me
great,
get moving
great,
on it.
great. If there's no other questions,
I said
the
there's a good
report's
chance
over.
of it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Tony.
Tony.
All right, here comes Mark. Next up on our agenda, 5C, it's our annual finance report.
Good evening.
Hi,
How do I follow that?
that's
Well,
difficult
it's
to
gonna be hard
follow.
because
We're
we're
very
pretty fired
excited.
up.
I have pictures, but they're not as exciting. I do apologize. All right, we will start with the annual financial report. I will remind you that this is preliminary. This is based on getting it out by the 25th of July to the state of Kentucky as required, and we're still making adjustments. We always have things that come in after that date. That's a very hard date to hit, but we have lots of things still coming in, bills, things that need to be applied back. So we are doing that, and we will do that all the way up until the auditors roll in, and that will probably be September-ish, maybe early October. So, but this is where it stands, and it is the way that we reported it to Kentucky Department of Education. So, without going into the hard numbers, I like to present this one a little bit different. We will start with general fund revenue. So, as you can see there, local was 51, our local contribution into the general fund was 51.42%, state was 46, federal 1.2, and then some miscellaneous other funds. It fell again, the state amount did again this year, and that's despite us getting some increased transportation funding at the end of the year and a seat base increase. So you can see that again, we are contributing more on the local level. This next slide here is actually, what I did with this is pulled the state funding percentages from all the way back. I started at fiscal year 20, so June 30th, 2020 to now. And you can see our trend as we go. This is the state's contribution to our general fund. So our trend now with increasing assessments and everything is downward. So more of it will be on the local level. The responsibility, you do see the one that says adjusted there for FY21. We've talked about that before where they pulled SEEK funding from us and gave it to us in federal dollars. To compare apples to apples, I moved that over for the percentage so that you could see truly how it trended out. This, a little harder to see, this is the breakdown of the general fund expenditures for this last year. You can see the first column there, that's instruction. We are spending majority of our dollars where it should be on instruction of students. That is almost 53% of our general fund budget right now. I took things that I consider to be direct services. So I took instruction, student support, instruction support category, and transportation. Those are direct to students. If you add all of those percentages up, we're spending 75.21% directly on students. We're focusing our budget where it should be, and that's students and making sure that they are successful in their education. This is the old administrative percentage that the state started, and they don't require us to report this anymore, but I think it's kind of an interesting point just to see kind of where we've been as compared to the state. The first year it came out, we were right in there. We've been one of the leaders in the state on this. Our admin as a percentage of instructional spending, you can see what the state average has been. The most recent numbers that you can get statewide are from the 2023 year. Statewide has been the 18%, and we've stayed in the 12s. It's very efficient. Now, what I like to look at, which is actually a better business percentage in the private sector, I took district admin, school admin, and business support services. Those would be what you would consider overhead in a business. If you look at that and you add those 3 percentages up of our general fund expenditures, that's 9%. That's an extremely efficient business. Anything under 10% is an extremely efficient business. So we are focusing the money on direct services. This number we look at every year. When we finished with our general fund expenditures, our salary and fringe did creep up 79%. As a service business, it will be higher than any other industry because we're people. That's how we take care of education. It's people, people-driven. So that will be higher. We like to keep it well below 80% or as low as we can below 80%. We'll keep an eye on this. Some of this is a little skewed because of the ESSER funding. You know, we're looking at general fund, but things that normally the general fund would have to pick up, but mandates and other things that have come along in the last year, they qualified under ESSER, so we were able to cover those through the ESSER funding. So you have more of the salaries here, but the other types of expenditures that would skew that back are actually coming out of federal funds. So we will keep an eye on that. As we've done raises and everything, we did expect that to creep up, but it is a number that I do want to keep an eye on as we continue forward. So this last year, some of the positive impacts on our balance. Community growth, that's both students and property values. We've had some growth in student numbers. Our Medicaid revenues stayed steady and climbed just a little bit. As I report to you all every month, we're doing really well on our investment revenue, and it's increased steadily. Being fiscally responsible with the resources. You all are very much a part of that. You look through all of our monthly reports, you go through our claims, you keep an eye on that as well as we do to make sure that we are responsible with our money. Increases in seat-based funding and transportation funding. We had a little bit this last year. We are getting more this year. And then, of course, the ESSER stimulus funds that helped offset additional expenditures from inflation. Now on the horizon, there's potential, as always, because it's in statute, that the CERS retirement system can raise their rates 12% at any given time, any year on us. This last year they went down, which was great. They went down significantly. They went from like 23% to 19%, which is a real help to our budget. But if the market starts going down, they could need more funds to fund that, and they could turn around and increase it by 12% if they so choose. District growth that causes further reduction in our Tier 1 and state seat funding. That's on the horizon and could affect us. So as our property values and things go up, we could see actual more decreases in our seat funding. Additional staffing needs. If we're growing, we need more staff. Zero indirect funding from the ESSER funds. This is going to be the first year that, now that those are gone, we got indirect funds that helped us manage those and did put money in the general fund. So when I presented the budget, the tentative budget, those were out of there. So we've already accounted for that, but that is going to be a hit in this next year. Of course, we talked about the completion of the CSEP program. And then, you know, as market changes happen, if the Fed starts dropping rates, decreasing rates and investments, that can have an impact on our budget. And then still, if our inflation stays high or grows, we have to deal with that with our expenditures. In your packets, you did have a balance sheet and the annual financial report, expense report for the year. I'll open it up for any questions. That's my annual report.
You can show that to us later and go, see, this is actually happened, not just on the horizon.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
All right, now
Like
is
the
our,
graphs. That's good, good add to your
Yeah.
little presentation.
I had to get some kind of pictures
Yeah,
in
you
there. I
did.
mean, look at what I was following.
You did
Graphs.
good. You did
It's
good.
very concrete.
Yes.
It makes it a lot easier.
you got claps from the audience. All right, next is our monthly financial reports, 5D.
All right, so we will start with the bank reconciliation. So as of July 31st, the district ended with a reconciled balance of $117,777,595.85. You can see where we're at as compared, it's actually down as compared to last year. You know, we've had the construction funds. We're now getting into the major spending of the construction funds. So we will see that going down. Last year at this time, we had just gotten the funds in. Things were just getting kicked off, so you didn't have a lot of expenditures. Now it's going to start going the other way. The general fund, we have some construction money in there that we will hold until it's needed to be transferred over. So that accounts for some of that increase in the general fund right now. Of this, 51% of what you see up there, what I'm reporting to you as the balance, is restricted for construction. We can only use it for construction. We cannot use it for daily operating needs. So if you happen to look at that and go, wow, we got all kinds of money, we can do lots of things. Well, most of it we can spend on construction. You got another big chunk in food service, and that has to be spent on feeding kids. So. Of the reconciled balance, the district has $42,243,586.08 in investments. Those rates range from 4.5 to 5.3%. It's a little down from last month because we had some T-bills that came due, and we brought those back into the general fund account so that we have them for cash flow purposes. We're now hitting that period where we need the cash flow because our tax money won't come in until probably December. So as these mature, that's probably what we'll be doing with them, and then we'll look at the new tax money and start the reinvestment process of those as we get funds in. In addition, you had a balance sheet and the revenue and expense report for July 31st. It's tracking where I think it should be. We're spending a lot on getting supplies and getting school rolling. So that's where most of our major expenditures are at this time. Any questions?
No questions? All right, we'll move into number 6, our action agenda to approve the monthly financial report. So I need a motion to make our, to approve our monthly financial report as requested.
So moved.
Second.
All right, so the motion was made by Mr. Rutherford, second by Ms. Coyle, right? Did I get that right? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is 6B, to approve fiscal year to, I guess, 25 motor vehicle tax rate. So this rate is the same as the prior year and has not changed since 1983 per KRS 132-487. So 55.800 cents per $100 of assessed value upon motor vehicles and watercraft for the calendar year 2025.
Only thing that hadn't changed since 1980.
Right. Are there any questions? I know we've already discussed all this, so with questions. All right, then I need a motion to approve the 2025 fiscal year motor vehicle tax rate.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Ms. Brock. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Cobb. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Moving on to 6C, to approve the design development plans for the BG2 and the BG3 for Waco Elementary. This is exactly what Mr. Thomas was talking about a few minutes ago.
So moved.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay,
Brandon and Becky.
I don't know who did that.
Becky
So
motion.
Becky wanted to make the motion, Mr. Rutherford second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. 6D, set the meal prices. So the Madison County Schools District is a CEP district where all students eat free meals. So, however, the state still requires us to set adult meal prices, like every year we do this. So, the 2024-2025 meal prices, adult breakfast, $3.50, and adult lunch, $5. I think the breakfast is what went up, correct?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
So moved.
All
I'll
right.
second.
thank you all. Motion's been made by Ms. Cobb, second by Ms. Brock. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. 6E, to approve the Head Start MOA. So, to approve the 2024-2025 local Head Start Memorandum of Agreement and Service Contract for the corporation of full utilization of Head Start. Is there any questions? All right, I need a motion. All right, the motion's been made by Ms. Coyle. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Brock. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. 6F, to create and ratify a paraeducator position. So, are there any questions about that? I know we've already
This is
asked
for
questions.
Cottle. Correct.
Yes, for B. Michael Cottle, yes, thank you. Any other questions? Then I need a motion to create and ratify a paraeducator position at B. Michael Cottle Middle School to be paid for by Section 6 funds.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Ms. Cobb. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Rutherford. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on down the agenda to 6G, to revise the Director of Teaching and Learning job description as presented. Do I have a motion? Or any questions before that? All right, then I need a motion to revise the Director of Teaching and Learning job description as presented.
So moved.
All right, motion's been made by Ms. Coyle, second by Ms. Cobb. Everybody's doing it at the same time
They're too
tonight.
light over there, you can't hear them.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. 6H, to approve renewal of Image Learning, formerly the Edgenuity. Are there any questions? All right, then I need a motion to approve renewal of Image Learning, former Edgenuity, for $65,943.45 as presented.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Mr. Rutherford. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Brock. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Number 7, the superintendent's report. Dr. Gillum.
All right, thank you. Often I get the question about this time of year, are you ready for school to start? And so I will answer that publicly. Yes, we are. We are ready. We are excited. Today, all of our teachers, instructional staff at the school level returned to their school buildings and started work. As you saw, some of the construction pieces there, you know, those MKA teachers have been setting the rooms up for the last couple of days, but they really got in there, rolled their sleeves up today, and got a lot of work knocked out. So yes, we're getting ready. Our students come on Wednesday of next week, and we're excited to have them in there. For our parents, I do want to mention just a couple of things as we prepare for the start of school. First, on the first day of school, buses will be late. I can go ahead and tell you that right now. You know, everybody's getting used to new routes. Everybody's getting used to new places. Kids don't know which buses they ride. What in the afternoons, specifically what bus they need to get on. You know, people have to learn their patterns, so they take a little while. So we will have late buses, and traffic's going to be really rough the first few days of school. Just expect it. We pray that you will be patient with us, and just take a couple of days. We'll get it all straightened out. Second, I also ask that you take a look at our district website, and specifically your school websites. There's a lot of information on there, and we don't want anyone to miss out on any of the communication that we have. A few other things that I would point out for me. On July 24th, I participated in the superintendent event at the KASA conference. Last week, July 31st through August the 2nd, we held our Principals Academy. And then also on Wednesday, yesterday, the Eastside Community Church sponsored an event for our bus drivers. And that was just a great event. I stopped by there for a few minutes. I know Ms. Brock was there. Lots of folks from our community stopped by to see those bus drivers. It was kind of a combined training piece along with truly a community show of appreciation to our bus drivers. And, you know, I said our kids come to school on Wednesday. Those buses are going to be out there picking them up. They're going to be out there picking them up because our bus drivers are going to be driving those big yellow buses, and we couldn't have school without them. So we really appreciate them, and thank Eastside Community Church for their involvement yesterday. That's my superintendent report.
All right, thank you. Next is number 8 on our agenda, comments from the board.
I would just like to say thank you to our maintenance crew. our summer workers, our finance department, our HR, everyone who's worked this summer, so we can be ready to go next week. Because I know they've worked hard. I think we're busier in the summer than we are through the school year. So I just want to say I appreciate all their hard work over the summer.
I look forward to touring next week.
Oh, yes. We've already got our agenda planned, right? With our driving to all the schools on Wednesday, starting at 6:40 a.m.
Ready?
All right.
Good luck to all of our teachers and parents and students next Wednesday. I will be in that drop-off line with you. So I will feel your pain. But this too shall pass, as my mom always said. So it's gonna be good.
And we all agree what's important is safety of our students.
It'll
So
be fine.
those buses need to be nice and slow, and like Dr. Gillum said, everybody needs to have lots of patience, because safety is our number one priority.
Next
All
couple of weeks is just patience and grace
Yes.
is what we need.
It'll be fine. It's gonna be good.
Anything else from the board? All right, next we are gonna, number 9 on our agenda, to enter into executive session to discuss a specific public record exempted from disclosure under KRS 61.6781M. So I need a motion to enter into executive session to discuss a specific public record exempted from disclosure, I'm saying it all again, under KRS 61.6781M. Is there a,
So moved.
okay, thank you. Mr. Rutherford, second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Brock. All those in favor?
Aye.
No.
All right. Motion passes. We're in executive session. Out of the executive session, so I need a motion to do that, please.
So moved.
All right. Oh, man, you all are saying it at the same time tonight. Motion's been made by Mr. Rutherford, second by Ms. Cobb. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. There were no actions, if anything, tonight in our executive session, so now I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Oh, man. It was Ms. Brock this time who made the motion. And
Second.
the second by Mr. Rutherford.
I was already walking.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned.